We're live on Facebook.
Welcome to another episode of Business Bros. What up, ladies and gentlemen? Hernan Cias here, host of the Business Bros podcast, where we're helping you take control of your branding, your marketing via podcasting so you can create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow. On today's show, it's kind of a special one. We need your help. Anything you can do as far as resources, time, donations, whatever it is. It's all about the kids is what we're talking about here. There are a bunch of needy families in San Diego. We're going through a major crisis, and some of us are hit worse than others. So today I'm bringing back on Angela from It's All About the Kids to tell us a little bit about firsthand what she's experiencing out there. And if you guys have any abilities to donate anything to help this organization, reach out in the DMs. I'm going to try to monitor them as much as I can in dual mode. And I'm going to have actually James, who's going to be on here in a second, monitor the Facebook feed so that way we can get you guys answers, questions, and any donations that you can possibly do. So without further ado, Angela, welcome back.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. And so quickly when I reached out and said, can I come on your show?
Yeah.
I totally missed the intro. Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Hi, James.
I know. I wanted to get this thing off and rolling as fast as possible so we can get as many people. So do me a favor, monitor the Facebook feed and see if we can get tag as many people as possible, and let's see if we can get some donations going, some little bit of help.
That is what I shall do. Hey, I'm looking forward to it. And yes, welcome back, Angela. It's such a pleasure to see you and talk to you again. And anybody that is out there listening, this is all about the kids. So once again, donations are welcome. Huge shout out. Big thank you to our friends over at Invictus Advisors. I don't know if you already mentioned it, but I'm going to say it again because their hearts are huge. They will match more donations up to $500 here today. So any help that we can get for It's All About the Kids, send it all over. And we want to help everybody out here in San Diego.
That's right. All right, Angela.
All right, I'm going to
hop on the Facebook.
Hop on the Facebook.
All right, Angela, tell me a little bit about what you're experiencing. I mean, you've always been out there helping families, but you were telling me just a little while ago, you've had a huge influx.
Yeah, it's been crazy. We knew, when we first started the food pantry, it was a growth that's been pretty constant. We would get about 20 to 30 new families a week. So we got the first week of the shutdown, basically, the first week of March, we had 130 new families that week. The second week, we had another 100. But then of the regular families that were coming, we had extra, like another 150 each of them. So we were where you guys came and saw us on Christmas, which everybody needs to know how amazing you two are, because you brought us all those fantastic shoes that we gave out to our families at our holiday party, and you guys helped with giving out toys and setting up the event and doing everything. So you guys get a huge shout out for that. But at that party, it seemed really a lot. We did a 410 families that one night, that one afternoon, I mean. Well, we're doing over 750 each week now. So imagine, almost double of what we did when you guys were there. So the biggest challenge was having to convert from choice, where the families come in and choose each one of the foods that they want, to a drive-through and a walk-up. And we did that in 3 days.
So let me shed a little bit of light, because a lot of your processes, a lot of what you guys did, you already had a system in place before. People would come in, they'd get their tickets, they'd walk around, they'd grab their products, they'd walk out. And so they were pretty much doing it on their own. Your system completely changed. And I know my mom told me they had shut down her food bank, but then they asked her to reopen because the need of the public. And she was saying even the pickup orders have been different. The way the food comes in, as far as for her anyways, she would take her truck to go pick up the food, but they wouldn't let the trucks into a certain point. They would only deliver to the trucks. And so like everything from bagging these things to putting them in a position where you can deliver, all that has changed. So on top of feeding more families, how you're feeding more families and the volunteer hands has changed.
Absolutely. And now we have to buy bags. and we have the labor intensive of packing 3,000 bags every week. That's a lot of bags to pack. So because we can't take their bags from them and pack that bag, we have to actually pack it. And most of, I would say over between 500 to 600 cars come through the drive-through in 4 hours. So imagine In-N-Out Burger,
Mm-hmm.
okay, on a Friday night at 6:30, for 4 hours straight. So we have to buy gloves. We have masks being sewn for us from all over San Diego, which has been amazing. But the most difficult part has been to get all the volunteers, because it takes. We need about 40 volunteers, and where before we needed 20.
Mm-hmm.
Because we need them throughout the day, because we have we need people helping in the parking lot, directing traffic, checking in. Our bilingual, we go from, instead of 2 clerks, now we have to have 4 clerks, because now we have 2 check-in places instead of 1. But then just the packing of the bags has been super difficult, but our expenses went up. We had to hire a security guard, because we have to have traffic, and we need a presence of security there, because we're now, instead of having 400 families, now you're talking maybe 3 people each family come, but there's actually sometimes up to 8 people in the family that are eating the food. We're dealing with thousands of people in just a short amount of time.
With limited resources. So once you get
Yeah.
towards the end, it starts to get, it's like anything else. The panic kind of ensues. We go to the store and you run out of toilet paper, and all of a sudden you're wondering if you even have enough, things like toilet paper. Well, when it comes to families that don't have very much, you're not talking about toilet paper, you're talking about empty shelves in their kitchens.
Yeah, and they didn't have the extra money that we have the luxury to have to go buy 2 weeks of extra food. For the people that hoarded it out there, these folks don't have the money to do that. They can't throw it on a credit card. I've had lots and lots of tears and tears in the last 2 weeks of families that I've grown close with that, one lady is a supervisor of the housekeeping at one of the big hotels, and they let her go because she was the most expensive on the payroll, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And so she worked for them for 20 years and doesn't know how she's going to feed her family, because she was the breadwinner in the family. She's a single mom with 3 kids and doesn't know what she's going to do. And she was crying because she was so happy that we were still staying open. Food Bank asked us to stay open. Feeding San Diego asked us to stay open. I did get a call from the mayor's office and 2 city council council members' office, but it wasn't to offer help. Sorry, I got to throw some shade here. It was to confirm our hours so they could send more people our way, but
Mm-hmm.
without more resources. So I got a little snippy on the last call and said, I would appreciate if you call me in the future. You guys are going to offer help, not offer to send more people our way, so that you can post on your website and it could be just overwhelming for us, but not give us more resources. So we have applied for that San Diego COVID Community Response Fund grant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Shout out to the San Diego Foundation. Please choose us. We need it. Because we had planned on having fundraisers. That's the bulk of how we raise money. We have big parties. We can't do that anymore. That's a big chunk. That's $50,000, boom, right out of our budget. And we were also only planning on our regular growth, not 50% in 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
And then if that grows exponentially, because it's not going to stop here, maybe as of April 30th, they're going to lift the social distancing or whatever. But after that, we're going to have the economic impact on our families that are not going to have jobs to go back to, even though they were maybe furloughed or laid off temporarily.
Yeah, some of those businesses won't exist. Yeah.
They're not going to exist at all. Or they will exist, and they're going to exist with just the staff that they had, and the ones that laid off are going to stay laid off, or they're going, everyone's going to be on unemployment, which, is a check, but it's not anywhere near what you can live on.
Yeah, it's very difficult at that point to survive. You got to make any types of cuts, accommodations. I mean, I know we've seen a lot of things like banks deferring their mortgage payments, but on the one hand, that's one side. There's these people that we're talking about here are paying rent, and
that's different.
Yeah, that rent is still going to be a difficult thing to do too.
Well, see, the thing about, I totally get the home mortgages. That's great because you're going to tack it on to the end of your mortgage. That's not
Yeah.
going to be tacked on in 2 months and you got to pay it in 2 months.
Right.
But your rent is, if you're not able to pay it this month, as soon as they lift that moratorium or however many, you got to pay it right away. So if you get behind 2 months, we're talking about what, $2,000
Yeah.
a month? Now you're at $6,000 because you owe for the third month.
Mhm.
Nobody's got $6,000 because you didn't have the $2,000 to begin with. You're
Yeah.
definitely not going to have the $6,000.
So these are going to be cascading events. I mean, it's gonna really impact a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. So, the other day I had a couple on that did something pretty creatively, and so I wanted to share it again with anybody who's listening. So they're the owners of Peanut Butter Whiskey, and
Oh, yeah.
they what they did was they reallocated their marketing budget, and they were donating to different organizations within the restaurant industry because that's the industry that they're in. So, but I thought it was really awesome that they instead of cutting all those funds back, they're reallocating to something that is a need within their industry. And this is where, for those companies that are still around, that are still open, that are still productive, that are benefiting from where we're at, if you guys could take some of those marketing budgets and turn around and do some good cause, I can promise you that when you act like that, you get the publicity that you're looking for, the advertising that you're looking for. You're just doing it in a different way, and there's organizations like yours that could totally benefit. And a lot of these people, they're going to see the people, they're going to know the people that have helped. They're going to know the companies that have come to their aid, and are there when they needed it the most. And when they get back on their feet, because these people are hardworking people, they're going to get back on their feet. It's just going to take them a little bit longer than other people. So when they get back on their feet, you're going to have that feeling of, I like this company. I know what this company did for me. I know what these people did for me. And it's good karma. It's good public relations. You're doing a good thing. It's one of those times where, like, this is where you need to shine. This is where you need to step up.
And it's also about brand loyalty. So I went to a conference last year all about cause marketing, and it does. Like, we have cause marketing with several of our sponsors. For example, the PB Fish Shop and the Fish Shop families, they have a taco named after us. So that people love that, because they love that when they buy that taco, they're going to donate a meal to our kids. That builds loyalty, because if you're going to make a choice of where you're going to buy, where you're going to spend your money, they say that over 75% of all people now buy based on the fact that that product is giving to charity. So now is the time to position yourself with, now what are you doing? How are you going outside the box? Because look at all those, the distilleries that are now making hand sanitizer, the clothing companies that are making masks, all the things that are being able to convert it to help this crisis is where is going to be the companies that are going to be remembered. Okay.
Absolutely.
And we need help. I mean, we provide a meal for 50 cents or less. So the more money we raise, the more families we can help. Right now we have a waiting list. It goes against my grain to have a waiting list, but I can't make promises I can't keep. And if we don't have volunteers and we don't have the monetary means to keep the food bank, our food pantry open and buy food from the food bank and have bags and security and all that, we won't be able to stay open. We won't be able to feed anyone.
So if people are thinking about what they can donate as individuals, what they can do, maybe they're not huge organizations, but they're okay themselves. What kinds of things are we looking for as far as contributions?
Well, there's different things that people can do. One of the best things that you can do is go to our Facebook page. It's all about the kids, and start a fundraiser. You might not be able to donate a lot, but with your $5 and someone else's $5, and get your whole family organized and everybody's at home and everybody can donate some money, every single dollar helps. That is a great way to help us. We also need volunteers. So if you're healthy and you're in San Diego and you are going stir crazy in your house and you want to give back, you're allowed to leave your house because we're an essential business. So call your friends that you miss and they're healthy and come and volunteer for us. Talk to your bosses, see if they'll give you the afternoon off and you can get volunteer hours, for example, and come and help us. We have masks, we have gloves, We, of course, if you have your own, we ask you to bring them, but we have all of that. We have X's on the floor so that people know where to stand when they're packing the bags. We practice all the CDC guidelines to the best of our ability, but yet we have a great time. For the volunteers, we provide lunch, and they also get to take food home. So lots of our volunteers right now are bar and restaurant people. Also fitness people, because it is a really great workout to be loading 40 pounds worth of bags into someone's trunk. Because we say pop the trunk, and they pop it, or we put it in the back seat and we load. So they're like pretty tired at the end of 3 to 4 hours of loading bags and thousands of pounds of bags into people's cars. So that's a great way to give back. They can also contact me through the website, and there's all kinds of things that I need help with the office and reaching out and finding people to make masks if people want to sew. There's all kinds of ways to help them. They can always reach out to me. But for monetary, I think making a Facebook page or just going to our website. So understand that for every dollar you're donating, you are providing 2 meals. So
it
it's
totally
important.
totally helps. Yeah, man. Tell me a little bit about this last food drive. Um, as people are pulling in, what are you hearing from them? What are some stories that are kind of breaking your heart or motivating you to keep going? I mean, you have this tremendous heart already, and you've been doing this for a long time. But in times of crisis, this is where the stress levels get a little bit higher. This is where you need to be a little more creative. This is where you are one of the essential people, because you've been helping already at this point. But there are new people who are coming to you that have never been in a situation like this before. So tell me a little bit about what you're seeing out there on the front lines.
Well, a lot of people are afraid. They're really nervous. When they come into the driveway with the cars, they're kind of puzzled, because people are used to the same thing every week, and they're so used to pulling in and parking and walking in. So suddenly we're directing them through. So I kind of make jokes, and that I tell them that it's a drive-through at Rigoberto's. And so I ask them in Spanish what kind of tortillas they want. And we make jokes about it, and they make jokes because we try to liven it up, because they've been waiting sometimes 15 minutes out in the line of cars that it goes all the way down Market Street and around the corners. And it's just craziness out on the street, but they have to wait at least 15 minutes. So we kind of make jokes, and then like the line breaks into two. So it reminds me of the border when you come back from TJ. So I make jokes with them again, and I tell them it's like TJ, and then I say churros, churros, and we make jokes, because they're waiting, and I want to make them at ease. That we've always done that at our food pantry. We've always treated our everyone that comes there, the volunteers, the donors, but especially our families, like their families, like they're our family, so that they would want to come back, and they would want to bring their children, and it would be a place that they would find a happy place instead of having more sadness in their lives. So I try to liven it up, but also with our volunteers, because they're really nervous too, and they're now around people that they don't know, and so that's why we just try to make sure we have the CDC guidelines posted inside. We make sure that every volunteer that signs in has read those, they're abiding by those. And at the same time, we're treating everybody as if they're family, instead of the social distancing that kind of makes people be afraid to be near someone.
It's funny how that works. Earlier today, I went out. I had to get my car smogged because I missed the deadline and it was late. But anyways, as I'm driving around and I see people walking around with masks and gloves, and they're just trying to protect themselves, but it brings this feeling of paranoia. Like all of a sudden, that person that you're walking next to may not be infected, but because they're wearing gloves and they're wearing masks, you think, like in my mind anyways, I'm like, I can't be around that person. I gotta keep myself away. When I was with you guys, when we were hanging out and helping out during the Christmas time, there is so much laughter in that room, and people are smiling and they're having a good time, and the music's playing and people are grabbing food and everybody's saying thank you. Like it's a 100% completely different dynamic than the scariness that's out and about right now. And yet I'm wondering, like, I know you guys have the energy, but you also have to be safe. and cover yourselves. What kind of feeling are you getting from your people? You're trying to be positive. Are you kind of getting that same feeling from from people who are coming around, or is it more fear?
I think it's a mix. I think it's both. I think it kind of depended on how the person was before this started.
Hmm.
Okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that
I
does.
think if someone was more of a kind of a worry wart before, or a person that was super concerned, they're going to be more concerned. I think that um, for a lot of our families, they're just trying to get day to day. They're just trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills, and how they're going to feed their families, and how they're going to deal with the kids not in school, and and childcare and everything else. That this is just one more thing, and there's a lot of mixed information that's out there.
Mm.
So I kind of think a lot of families don't quite know what to believe, and then like a lot of our families don't watch television. They're not. They don't get their news from Facebook. They get their news from their families and stuff because they're just busy, and that's not what they do. Or they're watching Mexican television. So they don't understand, and we have to explain to them why there's that X on the floor. Like
Mm.
the first time, if you ever went to the grocery store and you saw that, and you're like, what's that on the floor? And then you realize, oh my God,
It's
I have to
militaristic,
stand
right?
on that. This is a bad, bad movie. Yeah. I have to stand on that and then take 2 steps forward, and then someone will tell you, you need to step forward. And I'm like, oh my God, don't come near me. But I think what's really scary is I was loading things. I was getting some things out of the trunk in my front yard, and the 2 neighbors were walking on the sidewalk towards me. And as soon as they saw me on the other car, they crossed the street and went on the other side.
See, I
That
wonder.
makes me want to cry.
Yeah, because we're, social distancing in its core is kind of social eliminating. We're not able to, humans need and crave the attention of other humans. Like, we need that in our lives. Thank God that we got things like Zoom where we can at least communicate here, right? And have conversations with each other. Because otherwise, I 100%, I feel bad. Those kids, that might be the only trip right now that they're having. They're not in school. They can't go out to the parks are closed. They shouldn't be out and about. Like, there's only so much time that one can be enclosed in their house for a while. Like, my kids go stir crazy. So,
And they
the
don't have
fact,
backyards.
yeah, a lot
Okay.
of
They
them
have
are stuck
cement.
in, yeah,
They have
or
cement. They have
if that,
driveways.
if that.
Okay. And they can't play on the street because, you can't play in the street. So, I mean, the greatest place for our kids was the park, or school. The 66 program was amazing because he had all these special programs after school, and it's great. I know that the internet has lots of things, and I'm really hoping that our families are utilizing that. I think that you gave me a great idea right now. I think we're really going to start. I think I'll share some educational tools and maybe some things that they can have for their kids. But a lot of our families don't have computers. They're like, it
Yeah,
just isn't part of their world. The
it's
phone is, but not a lot of them even know how to use the phone. So it's just a really difficult time for our kids. Oh, and I have to tell you, by the way, the last time I saw you, I think I gave you some statistics that the kids that were from our program attended 11 schools in San Diego. Remember I said 11?
hmm
Well, now they attend over 45. And we have kids that live in over 25 zip codes in San Diego. So we are representative all over. I mean, like every county, like we're all over San Diego County. Every city, there's a kid that comes and gets food from us when their parents come and pick up food. So our program has exploded that way, not just in just Barrio Logan area.
yeah, and now more so because you got city council people saying this is where you need to go get
Oh,
supplies.
I told him don't. I said, please don't. I can't. I wish. I mean, my dream in life would be to be on your show in a couple of years and tell you that we only had 25 families come because everybody didn't need food.
Yeah.
That would be the joy of my life, to tell you I was bored and I needed something else to do. But that's not going to happen anytime soon because I just know that as soon as we get past the 800 a week mark and we get towards the 1,000 a week, not 1,000 at least once during the month, which is so much higher, it's going to sustain there. Like I said earlier, it's going to
hmm
sustain. It's not going anywhere. If anything, we're going to have more homeless families.
Which is worse. Which is definitely worse.
Hmm. Yeah, it's frightening. So
Yeah.
But right now, all I can worry about is getting through April and keeping my drive-through going, and trying to set the families, and hoping that the families still come out to get the food. That's the other thing. We don't want them to be so frightened that of what's going on with the cases that they don't come get the food either.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You're still, and just so people know, this is weekly. This is not once a month. When you said you got to get through April, you're talking about, this is 4 weeks in April that are coming up, for every Thursday that you're out there, doing this every single week. When you're talking about the increase in families, this is per week. This is not once a month. This is a consistent thing. I know I had to go to the grocery store at least once a week. These people, same type of thing. They have kids that are growing up. I don't know if, not everybody has kids, but I know mine, 10 and 11-year-old, they don't stop eating. Like they eat all the time. Those kids are growing kids. They're hungry all the time. So we as adults, I mean, we can, skip and it would not be as good, but you got also families that, you have diabetes, you have other things that are going on in their life. They need to have these meals on a regular basis.
Well, and because when everybody ran out to the stores and hoarded everything, they also bought a lot of the WIC food. That's why that big fundraiser, that big Facebook post is going around asking people right now, don't go to the grocery store for a couple of days, don't buy all the cheese and the things that says WIC. Because when the families did go out and buy, they didn't have any WIC products available, and they can't buy anything but WIC products on WIC. Just so you know, I worked for WIC a long time ago when I got out of college. And that's where I learned and worked for USDA at the same time and learned how to run a food program. But with WIC, it's very specific. And WIC is Women's and Infants and Children. And it is a food program for pregnant women and for children up to the age of 5. So it supplements their diet with giving them cheese, beans, juice, milk, baby formula if the woman is not breastfeeding, extra food for her if she is breastfeeding, cereal, etc., to help at-risk children and needy children at the most important time, which is birth to 5. And they are going to the store and there's nothing for them because everybody hoarded. We're having a hard time finding gloves. If anybody has plastic, non-latex vinyl gloves, the food handlers kind or whatever, we need gloves because our shipment didn't come in. It's now another 2 weeks. A donor fell through that was going to have 10 boxes for us. And then people are going out and they only need one pair, but they buy a box of 100. So it's just crazy. It's craziness.
Food handler gloves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Food handler gloves, but I'll post some other things up. I'm going to continue asking for help. We also every Thursday always need food for our volunteers. That's another thing. So if anybody has a restaurant that they are staying open and doing to go and delivering and all of that, and you want to make some extra pizzas or make some extra sandwiches for our volunteers, we would love it because we really got to make sure that they get fed because they work really super hard. And the core of our volunteers are our families that
they spend their time there giving before they
like one of our lead volunteers, she can't come because she has health issues. But during the regular weeks, her grandkids who live with her come right after school. Well, since school's been out, they've been coming for the whole days. And since she can't come, they're still coming. So they help me with check-in because they're bilingual and they're smart. And we taught them how to use everything on our tablets, on our app, and they're fantastic. So I'm super grateful for our families that are still coming out and helping us. Because they're our core. We can't do it without this core group of volunteers. And then, of course, these great volunteers that are coming from the restaurants, and different families and people bringing their kids. And it's been great. But every week we need more.
Absolutely. Well, one more time, Angela, tell us, where they can go, what they can do. I know we already said it, but I want to say it one more time to get you any resources that we need.
Go to our website. It's allaboutthekids.org. On the website, you'll see information about the food pantry, but also the volunteer and the donate. Those are the two most important things we need, are donations and also people to volunteer. If you want to start a Facebook fundraiser for us, we would love it. You just go to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/it's all about the kids. And you'll see right on there, it says start a fundraiser for us and spread the word. and try to raise some money for us. For every $1, you're providing 2 meals, and we just want to make sure San Diego kids aren't going to bed hungry during this. They need their strength. Everybody needs to stay well. And I'm super grateful for you guys for helping me spread the word and for helping during the holidays. And you guys are stuck with us forever now.
It's okay. You're one of our show sponsors.
We're just super grateful because this is a community effort. Everybody, it says we're going to make this through together. Absolutely. So however anybody can help when they're just sitting there and they're bored. I don't want to see any more posts on Facebook that people are bored and want to know what, new show they should watch. This is the time you can help from your couch, do something online that's fun and helpful. So, please reach out. They can reach out to me. I'll give them plenty of things to help with. And we're just super grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gents, again, anything you could do. We all have a network of people, each and every one of us. So if we were to just go to the Facebook page, create a donation tab and reach out, even if you only raise $5, $10, whatever it is, believe us, it adds up. Every little bit is helpful. And you are literally helping families survive this crisis. Like you ever see those things on TV where you see those starving kids, you see those starving families? We're hitting into some times like that where you're going to have families that here are locally in San Diego going through tough times. So anything you guys can do, please reach out, go to the Facebook page, go to the website, reach out to Angela, and let's, together we can get this moving in a positive direction.
Thank you so much again for having me.
I appreciate it. Of course.
Yay. Wednesday afternoon, happy hours.
All right, ladies and gents, have a good one. That's all we got for you guys today.
Bye.
Peace. And we're out.